Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Yank Soccer Bets. I know I haven't made a video in a while, but that's because the 19/20 Premier League season has come to an end. What a crazy season, let's be honest. But it's come to an end. It's been a crazy ride, but it's come to an end. That's why I haven't made any bets or predictions, because there's no Premier League games to make predictions about, right? I know the Serie A league is still going on, but I kind of do little side bets, low wager bets on those games. But my main focus is on the Premier League. And obviously, like I've said in previous videos, I do follow Barca a lot and what happens in La Liga. But my primary focus is the Premier League. So the fact that it's not going on anymore, I haven't made videos. But I figured I'd make a video about the an overall review of the league. I mean, of the season so far. I'd figure I'd make a review and an overall review of the 19/20 season and what happened, and a few stats about what happened this season on what was a crazy season due to the coronavirus outbreak. But yeah, I'm going to break this into, I think, 5 categories. If you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. The first topic, which is I cannot start this video without the first topic congratulating Liverpool and what they have accomplished. Congratulations to Liverpool and all their fans for finally winning a Premier League title after 30 years. I do not blame you guys for going out and celebrating and causing mayhem and fucking catching and spreading that virus even further amongst yourselves. I mean, you guys had all the right to. And unfortunately, this outbreak kind of put a dent in your title race. You guys won it, and well deserved. I mean, Liverpool are miles ahead of everybody else. I think due to some defensive fallbacks for City that there was such a big gap, but I do think they deserved their title. I mean, their consistency and their team, as you'll see in some of these stats, they're just unplayable at the moment. You know, unfortunately, I might be talking out of my pocket. The fact that I feel like they gave up some professionalism after they won the title in dropping points. I know they don't mean anything, and I know they had the title wrapped up, but I think the fact that they made me lose some fucking money is what gets me pissed. But yeah, congratulations to Liverpool, guys. You guys are just out of this world. And I'm also going to congratulate Man City, because you guys are also way ahead of everybody else. I think the title race is going to be way closer next season. Unfortunately, you guys did have some injury problems in the back, and putting, you know, people who aren't center backs as center backs affected you a lot. And you guys really need to focus on getting some defensive players. I know you guys just signed Ake. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Nathan Ake or Ake. I have him on my ultimate team, who's a beast, by the way. Hopefully that solves some of your guys' problems. But I think the title race for the top 4 is actually going to be a lot closer next season. But we'll get into that a little bit later. So congrats to Liverpool. Let's move on. Topic number 2, the top scorers and the top assisters of this 19/20 season. Top scorer being Jamie Vardy with 23 goals. Congratulations to Vardy, who carried Leicester City on his back for most of the season. Unfortunately, you guys dropped major points after the COVID break, but I mean, Vardy was putting in work, and if it wasn't for Vardy, then Leicester City wouldn't even be in the Europa League. So yeah, kudos to him. But also honorable mentions to second place. 2 players actually tied for second place: Aubameyang and Danny Ings, who also put in a great display after a horrific injury. And just displaying that kind of talent just shows that he probably needs to be in a better team. I think no big teams are going to come after him this season or this summer transfer window, but I think if he shows consistency and puts this kind of performance in next season, I think big teams will start looking at him, and even the England squad to bring him in for the Euros, which were the Euros 2020, but now the Euros 2021. Aubameyang, with Mikel Arteta coming in, Arsenal have always had a lot of firepower up top. It's just their defensive issues that they need to fix. Arsenal finished in a horrible 8th place, which is bad for being such a big club like them. But yeah, Aubameyang shows even at 30 or past 30, he's put it in work, and he's a great talent. To the top assisters, which up top, miles ahead, we have to give it to in my opinion, who is the best midfielder in the world, who is Kevin De Bruyne. He's just outstanding, man. He's out of this world. The amount of skill he has to whip in an early cross from almost like 10 yards past half field, and whip an early cross and find Agüero up top to header it in is just, or Gabriel Jesus up top to header it in is just amazing, man. And his technique is just out of this world. Congratulations to him for getting 20 assists. Second and third place, again, and fourth place, which I didn't include in my list, but second, third, and fourth place were all Liverpool players. Just shows their depth and their versatility. You know, not just one person's getting all the assists or scoring all the goals. You know, they're spreading the work amongst their whole team, which is what makes a good team. So second place we have Trent Alexander-Arnold. Third place we have Robertson, and then fourth place we have Mo Salah. Second and third place being fullbacks, being the top assisters, man. It just shows the quality of work. Granted, I don't think Trent is that good of a defensive player. He can work on his defense. I mean, who am I to say, right? What the fuck? I'm not on their level, right? But as a fan, you can see that he needs defensive work. Robertson, great going forward. He's a little bit better dropping back to defend than Trent is, but I mean the numbers show how great they are going forward. So kudos to them for getting second and third place. Now we move on to topic number 3, which is, I didn't know I'm not really good with titling these topics, so that's why I just number them 1, 2, and 3. The third one is what teams had a great season without disrespecting the team, but to their standards, if that makes any sense. And the first team I want to talk about is Wolves. Wolves had a great season. Wolves had a great season, fighting for top 4 almost all season until they dropped points after the COVID break. The break did not do them any good. Nino Santo has them playing very well. You know, they're such a fun team to watch. You know, the main bet this season was draw at halftime with Wolves and then winning in the second half. That's what they do. They tire their team out, and then they score a goal or two, and then they keep it tight in the back and keep clean sheets, or maybe just let one in, but then they score 2, right? So they're a great team to watch. You know, Jimenez, Traore, Neto playing up top. You know, they have that chemistry that makes them really, really good. So that's the first team I wanted to talk about. The second team I wanted to talk about is Southampton, because they put goals in the back of the net, man. Granted, their defense isn't the best, so Ralph needs to work on that, but I can't even pronounce his last name, so I'm not even going to try. He needs to work on that, but Southampton put goals away. Every time I watch the Southampton game, I can guarantee goals. I always had both teams to score in over 2.5 on Southampton games because they put chances away, but they also let goals in the back. So that's why it's always both teams to score in over 2.5. But Danny Ings, like I mentioned before, he was putting his chances away. He was scoring loads of goals every single game, carrying Southampton on his back. They got a great win versus Man City. I mean, granted, they held on to that 1-0 win, but I mean, that's what football's about, right? It's all about results at the end of the day. So kudos to Southampton. The other team I want to talk about was my beloved Chelsea. Nobody expected Chelsea to get top 4. I mean, they were coming off a transfer ban, right? They had just lost their best player, Hazard. They had a rookie manager come in, Super Frank, right? He had to work with a bunch of rookie players, youngsters, coming up from the championship, or just young players, because he couldn't sign any of his beloved players. Granted, he got Mason Mount, I know he's in love with Mason Mount. But getting top 4 is just an amazing season for Chelsea. It was a very unexpected season. And yeah, they show major problems in the back. That's something Frank really, really, really needs to work on. So please work on that. I understand you got Timo Werner, and then you got Ziyech. But, I mean, you got to start focusing on getting a center back and maybe a left back and a goalkeeper, for God's sake. So we really got to focus on our back line. But up top, we put chances away. And I've always speak of Pulisic. I come from the States, so I got to support my American brother, I know they're a big squad, and they should be in the top four every season. But after everything against them, they've actually got top four. Nobody was expecting it. I think they deserve a round of applause. And then the last team I wanted to talk about is a Sheffield United. They put in a great performance coming up from the championship and then ending where they did. Granted, after the break, they didn't have things go their way, and they dropped a lot of major points. But to their standards, again, they should have been below, I think, 15 in our expectations, right? Maybe not relegated, but underneath in the bottom half of the table. But the fact that they put in great performances, great teams. They're another team like Wolves who defense really tight in the back. Their defense is just amazing. I think top teams are going to start looking at their back line because Wilder has been playing really compact in the back. Granted, they don't really put teams away. There was a game, I forgot who it was against. It could have been against, I think it was against Chelsea. They put 3 away against Chelsea, which is not normally what they do. They normally score 1 or 2 goals and then just keep it tight in the back. They had a great season coming up from the championship. Topic number 4. We're going to go into the most improved team since the break, in my opinion. And I got 2 teams in this topic. The first team I want to talk about is Tottenham. I know everybody shits on them because they were in the Champions League final. And, they were fighting for a top spot last season. So I know they should be higher than where they were. But, all the hell that was going, losing Pochettino, that, and then bringing Mourinho in. Granted, Mourinho has won everything that there is to win. So we expected a lot from them. But I think since the break, they improved. They're one of the teams that improved the most out of every single team. If we look at their stats, they only lost since the break. If we look at their stats, they only lost 1 game since the COVID break. They won 5 and drew 3, I believe. No. They drew 4 and lost 1 since the break. So they're one of the most informed teams since coming from the break. I know with 4 draws, it didn't really feel like it, and they would let people down. They would let people down with some of their performances. But since the break, they've only had 1 loss, so they improved dramatically. Is that the right word to use? But they improved tremendously. There you go. Since the break. But that's the first team. The second team that I think improved tremendously since the break, who are extremely informed, were Man United. They were just, since the Bruno signing, that just changed the whole mindset of the team. Since that was, I think that's the signing of the season, because look at where Man United were. They were gonna sack Ole. They were worried Pogba wasn't gonna come back 100% for this team, and that he was gonna leave, and they had so much firepower up top, but nobody was producing anything. But since COVID, the youngster Greenwood, he's been putting in major work, scoring goals. Martial has found some form. Rashford has found form. Pogba and Bruno playing in the middle. It just has been an amazing team. And that's coming from someone who likes Chelsea. I'm a Chelsea fan, so saying that about Man United, I think is, I'm not going to say means a lot, because who the fuck am I, right? They're not going to be like, oh, Kenny said Man United is putting in work, so that must mean they are doing something right. Right? No one cares about my opinion. But they have been in tremendous form since the break, so I got to give them a round of applause. And unfortunately, they did lose to Arsenal in the FA Cup semifinals, but I think their main focus was just getting top 4. And now I'm excited to watch Chelsea destroy Arsenal tomorrow in the FA Cup final. But yeah, let's move on to topic number 5, which is, I'm just going to briefly talk about the relegation team. I understand Bournemouth, Bournemouth, Watford, and Norwich were relegated. So if you're a fan of any of those teams, then that fucking sucks. But Norwich, after the break, you can just see they just gave up. They threw in the towel. Towards the beginning of the season, Pookie was carrying them on their back, scoring some goals for them. But after the break, they just gave up. They accepted defeat. They accepted relegation. And every time you saw Norwich play against a team, you had to bet. A good bet was always betting the team they were against to win to nil, right? So both teams to score no was always a bet to go when Norwich is playing, or a spread for the other team, -1 or -1.5 Asian handicap was always the bet to go against Norwich because they just threw in the towel. Watford are very strong. They're a strong team, but unfortunately, I can't really show any empathy. No, I'm a fucking idiot. I can't show any what's the word I'm looking for? Sympathy? No, sympathy, I think. God, just bombard me in the fucking comments of how stupid I am so you guys can see. But I can't show any sadness for these teams. That's the word I'm going to go with. I can't show any sadness for these teams because if you're in the relegation zone, I think you deserve to be there because granted, Aston Villa got away with it with their comeback game from the COVID break against Sheffield, but which I know Bournemouth fans are going to feel a little hard done by due to that decision. But I think if you're in the relegation zone, you deserve to be there because you shouldn't even be in that zone if you're putting in work throughout the season. If you're showing consistency, if you're showing that even though you're not playing your best football or you're not having the best day, you're still grinding out results, whether it's a narrow win or even a draw. But if you're just dropping points consistently, then I think you deserve to be in the relegation zone. So, like I said, I understand that Bournemouth fans might feel hard done by because of the decision made in the comeback game versus Sheffield, when it was Sheffield versus Aston Villa. We think that Aston Villa should have lost that game, but due to some shitty VAR decisions, you guys are relegated. But I mean, if Bournemouth was playing well and consistent, then they wouldn't even be in that position to begin with. So, yeah, that fucking sucks if you're one of their fans. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to say about the overall 1920 Premier League season. I wanted to get a video to you guys to make sure, just to let you guys know that I'm still here. I'm going to be making videos for the Europa League, my bets and predictions, and for the Champions League. I think that's going to resume next Friday, so a week from now, I believe. But yeah, guys, so stay tuned for those videos. Again, I'm still making videos. The only reason I stopped was because the season came to an end. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe for future content. And I'll see you guys on the next one, guys. Peace.